the level playing field always makes it dead interesting. Depending on the track, obviously I've not seen the list complete myself, but obviously it'd be interesting. Obviously, for like George said, front-wheel drive cars, 200 odd brake. You know, back end likes to go. See you later. It always makes it dead interesting. So
definitely.
I mean,
that's how I wanted. Yeah, I wanted to do it this season with a lot of the GT Sport leagues. Is just have stock setups, no fuel tyre wear, just get in the car, go, and it's about the driver then. It's all about driver skill. Excuse me, nothing else.
Happy days.
We all okay on the stream, George?
Yeah, I started a part 2, so we're all good.
All right, we'll carry on then. So, looking on from that, we've obviously got the M4 league. So, Mark, take us away on that.
Yeah, the M4 league, another exciting league. I'm really looking forward to it. This is my baby. I'm going to be hosting this. Approach Farstar, which is a company that's obviously involved with a lot of car stuff. They're one of NXTGEN's main sponsors. And they're going to put up a prize of a Farstar bundle, merchandise, clothing, t-shirts, that sort of thing, caps. But the guys at Farstar, they actually run an M4 GT4 car as a time attack car. They do a lot of time attack. They're renowned for their Luke's renowned for his Bentley time attack car, but they also have now got the M4 time attack car. So that's why I chose the M4. Obviously, all cars are done out. Well, my car is done out in the official Farstar livery in the black and gold. So I'll be running that one. But again, this league is stock setups, no fuel tyre wear, get in the car and go. Adjusted the format slightly, been talking to the drivers about the format, and we decided it was going to be 10-minute quali, 20-minute race, but we decided the 20-minute race was a bit too long. So we're going to do 2 races now. 10-minute quali, first race, fastest first, 10 minutes, second race, reverse grid, 10 minutes. So that reverse grid should add an extra element into the race. But that's on Sunday nights from 9 p.m. Recently just secured Chris Wall, CJW Racing on YouTube. He's going to be commentating that. So that's going to be brilliant.
That'd be quite interesting, that. Obviously, like you said, fastest at the front, and obviously reverse it round. Obviously, you can't, if you're competitive and good, you might be able to come back up the field in the second race, but obviously it shows, obviously, like I said earlier, who can do the job at the end of the day.
Who can slice through the field.
Yeah,
exactly.
Who's going to take those little chances? But obviously, you never know until you get there. So
and especially with getting Farstar on board. Obviously, Mark briefly alluded to it earlier with really good sponsorship. Getting a potential sort of merchandise package, which is really good. Obviously, Farstar, for those that don't know, they've sponsored loads of different support series over the years. Obviously, talking about with BMW in that case, with some of the GT programs that they've got going on. They're well known for the motorsport merchandise too. You can jump onto the website there for that one and find out a bit more information. They've got a lot going on, so to have them on board with NXTGEN is really good. That's a really bright point to have, isn't it, at the end of the day, lads?
And speaking of liveries,
another thing with the Farstar League, we've got Freddie Hewitt, who's been working a lot with Farstar lately. He runs in the KA, I think it's the Endurance Cups. I think the KA Endurance Cups for KA. And his car is actually done out like in the Farstar black and gold livery, which Luke has done for him. But we've got Freddie Hewitt on board as well. We've got a sort of in-league competition, which is best overtake. So each round I've asked the drivers to submit the best overtake. Freddie's going to judge them. So each winner of each round, if you see what I'm saying, will go into the final after all the 10 rounds is done, and then the winner of that will get a prize as well.
Oh, cool.
That sounds quite cool.
That'd be good, yeah. Lots of divebomb.coms going on.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Well, especially in the reverse grid. It's interesting, really, because the reverse grid, Mike, you bring up a good point. Later on, in the latter part of the season, when points become crucial, I think that's going to be one thing to definitely watch out, is the faster boys who need to score the points risking a little bit more just to get those extra points to try and keep that security at the top, or to try and finally reach the champion.
Especially with a 10-minute race session, that's going to be exceptionally intense to try and score those points.
Those last 3-4 rounds, you could see a lot of risky overtakes looking to be made in that second race. But obviously, Mike, you're saying about the liveries, and I have to mention one of them, which is John Burton's, who runs the Mini League, which we'll talk about in a bit. He has literally done a Sonic the Hedgehog one, and he's got Sonic, Knuckles, Shadow, Tails at one end, with Eggman at the other, and it is... I mean, it must have taken him absolutely hours to finish that one.
Yeah, got him in the Sonic one, and he's got... Sorry, my dog's kicking. And then we've got my brother in the Care Bears livery as well. He's done a Care Bears livery. So some interesting liveries going on in that league.
Sorry, Mike, you were going to say?
Oh, sorry, Mike.
Sorry, like you were saying, obviously with the psychological side of things, it'll take the edge. Like, obviously, if you think you're certain tracks, like Brands Hatch or whatever, 10-minute race doesn't, seems quite long. But obviously, if you're fighting with people to get through that field, it's going to make it quite interesting, because people will go for any gap they can. It'll come to a point where, I'm not saying it might happen or it will, but it could be decent chances for someone who's doing not too good to suddenly be quite competitive in the field. Because I don't know, I know all the lads who take part in this are actually they're quite competitive, but they're not. I don't think I've never seen a dirty driver in the group.
Yeah.
So obviously, being from my sort of background, like you go online, you're always going to find that one dirty driver who thinks it's Grand Theft Auto, take you off, and you get angry at it, don't you? But whereas obviously with Neck, it's very competitive. Obviously, the odd time frustration's going to come out, isn't it, or whatever. But at the end of the day, everyone just wants to have fun, take part, and obviously enjoy ourselves at the same time.
And make sure we don't have loads of incident reviews going on.
The steering panel's going to be
full with my name on it. Oh, this wheel's come off. Oh, that's come off. Yeah.
We've got one more with Mark before he has to disappear, obviously, and I know it's another series that you're really passionate about, Mark, with the minis, and that this is going to be on a Monday, so I'll let you talk about it, and then once you talked about it, you can go, and then me and Jordan will carry on with Mikey as well.
Cheers, guys. The minis, we got John Burton back hosting the minis. He's the one that originally started the Mini Cup, and he done brilliant with the league. Obviously, he ran into some personal issues, had to dive off, but like we all do. But the current Mini League we have changed, and I'm so excited about this. We've got Max Coates on board and Callum Newsham, who race in the real life mini series alongside the British touring cars. But what it is, it's a battle between the Coates and the Newsham. So what we've done recently, or what John's done, is he's got the drivers from lobbies, and he's split them into the Coates side and the Newsham side. So there will be a individual championship battle. So the drivers obviously in their by themselves scoring points, but then they will also score points for either the Coates side or the Newsham side. And Max Coates has kindly said he'll sort some merchandise. I'm still talking to the Newsham family about some stuff. But I'm quite excited about that, and obviously we've got you, Jack, and you, Jordan, commentating on it, and that's going to be absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, it's the first dual commentary we've ever had in NXTGEN. So I mean, me and you are looking forward to it, aren't we, Jordan?
Yeah, it's going to be really, really good. And as you know, Jack, I know two of the drivers very, very well in it.
Indeed, so a bit of individual bias coming from Joe. It's going to be really good, and I think with obviously having Coates and Newsham on board, both really talented race drivers as we've seen in these British Championships, it's going to be really good to have that official representation with NXTGEN, and having a bit of prizes as well. That's going to be really awesome to see how we get on with that. So I think those are the Mark leagues.
Yeah, they're my leagues. So they're my leagues. Yeah, they're my babies.
So I think then with those leagues, that's what we've got, and I think we're going to just go through the rest of the schedule now, aren't we? I think with Mondays and then go from there.
Yeah, I mean, a bit of background with the minis is like format and stuff, because I've got the events page in front of me. 150 brake horsepower, so they're not very powerful. The power will go down quite nicely on their racing soft tyres. I think that's what they're using. Yep. Only 1,050 kilograms, so they're quite light. So the power to weight, perfect for these things.
Yeah.
It's going to be a really nice blend. And obviously on the picture, this is one of the earlier promo pics before we put calendars on them. Just to run through the calendar when I get to it. So they're starting off at Maggiore Centre, which is going to be utter chaos, but it's going to be great fun to watch. Kyoto Yamagiwa. Now, they used to do Miyabi, Jack, if you remember.
Yeah.
They used to go around the Miyabi loop. They're now going around the Yamagiwa, which I think is going to be amazing to watch. They're going to be nose to tail everywhere through there.
It'll certainly be a slipstream fest, if anything like the team versus team was last week in the MX5. So that's going to be even more so.
Sardinia
Road Track B used to be in the Scirocco's and the Megans for a season. Good track, good chance of overtaking, but also a lot of places where drivers can make a mistake. Tsukuba, it's an amazing circuit. But the interesting thing is that the format for this, it has two different race formats. So it's got for some tracks it's a 15-minute qualifying and two 20-minute races, the first one being a fastest first and the second being a reverse grid. However, the 5th and the 10th round, which will be Dragon Trail Seaside at round 5, Brands Hatch GP round 10, is a 15-minute qualifying, I believe. I'm just scrolling through the events page. It'll be a 15-minute qualifying followed by a 1-hour endurance race.
Sorry, is that last one the last race of obviously the season for that Cup, if you say? Is that like the last one?
So that's round 5 and round 10. They have 1-hour endurance races. Then they go to Brands Hatch Indy, which is going to be fantastic. As we know, almost every league goes to Brands Hatch Indy just because of how good it is. Followed by Suzuki East Goodwood, which I know you're happy with, Jack. You love the place.
I do indeed.
And then Red Bull Ring Short, which I'm not a massive fan of Red Bull Ring Short, if I'm completely honest. I find it hard to overtake on that one.
I think that'll be a good circuit in those cars, though.
That'll be the one. Really, that'll be a qualifying sort of one. That if you can get a good qualifying and you're alright at defending, you should do quite well there.
Yeah, so I think he's spot on with that. So, it's gonna be fantastic. I'm really looking forward to that on a Monday. I'm looking forward to commentating with you on that, Jordan. I know Mark's excited to watch that as well, and Mikey will be definitely tuning in a little bit too. So that's going to be really.
I've got to officiate between you two, not. This is generally what that's going to be, isn't it?
We've got as well, just for those that are wondering, obviously you might be thinking to yourselves, what's else is going on a Monday night with Next Gen? We do have a PC league, don't we, Jord?
Yeah, I was going to go on to a different league first, but we can go there if you want.
If you want to go on to a different league instead.
Well, I was going to go for the ACC league on PS4 for the One Make series, the Ginetta GT4s. Set up by Kevin Smith, otherwise known as Next Gen Ultra. 8 PM start time. Now, last season he ran a mini season, like a 5-round season in a Porsche Cup car. He done a vote, and the Ginetta GT4s were the car of choice, which I think is a fantastic choice because obviously they're in the British touring car package, they're in the endurance stuff. So it's a fantastic car. From what I've heard, because I've never played ACC, it's a great car to drive. I'm just going to the events page to have a look at what the format.
Yeah, it's going to be, if he's coming back to defend his crown, he's got a job to do.
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, he's got the likes of I don't know if Stu Packham is going to be racing this one. I think he might. I think he's missing this one out this season. But there's plenty of drivers on that grid which are going to challenge him, and I think as the game gets older and more, and the guys around him get more practice in, they get more used to it, he's going to have a real challenge on his hands.
Yeah, Absolutely. I think defending a first title as well for John's going to be something quite fascinating to see. So I'm looking forward to seeing how he copes with that with a full 10-round season. And going back to when we briefly mentioned it and then came to Assetto Corsa, we've also got PC leagues going on. So for the Monday, starting from next Monday, of course, we've got the PC League with Race Room, the WTCR League hosted by Lee Horner, and that's obviously sponsored by Powermax Racing, and that's going to be for the World Touring Car Cup, so to speak. And this is a series that's ran for, I think it's in its 4th season now, am I correct, George?
I'm trying to think. Yeah, I believe it's its 4th.
I want to say 4th.
I want to say 4th, because I'm pretty sure me and you've been running the Project Cars for about 3 seasons.
Season 16, yeah. So this would be its 4th league. This would be its 4th season. And I think one thing to note, and he probably doesn't get the credit that he deserves. And if anyone's listening, you can give him a pat on the back. Lee Horn's put in quite a lot of effort to get this league to the position that it's in. I'm looking at the entry list currently, and we're looking at 19 potential drivers for the season. So that's going to be a really packed grid for those that are taking part. This is on Race Room, just as a reminder, and we've got 3 races now that's going to be happening. The format has changed for this season. Race 1's going to be 15 minutes long after a 15-minute qualifying session. Race 2 is going to be a top 8 finishes from the Race 1 results. Sort of a reverse top 8 on that one with 15 minutes elapsed again, and a little bit of success ballast on top of that. And then Race 3 is a reverse top 15 finishes from the Race 2 results with 18 minutes elapsed. So quite a lot of racing going on in the events, a lot of points up for grabs, a lot of wild card performances, so to speak. The track list looks amazing as well. That's going to be really awesome. I'm just going to quickly go through those. Starting off at Portimao, which just hosted its first Formula 1 visit a couple of weeks ago. It's a great, wonderful track. Brands Hatch Indy, followed by Road America, Zolder. Autodrome Most is round 5, little break. And then number 6, we got Scandinavia, Mid-Ohio after that, Ningbo International Speed Park, Motorsport Aragon, and Spa-Francorchamps to finish that off. I think that's going to be a really, really good season. I'm looking forward to seeing that. Is that being commentated on this season? Do you know? Because I know
I'm unsure at this stage, I think. But what I will say is I've never heard of Ningbo International Speed Park until it got announced on the calendar.
Really?
You really? I had I'd never heard of it.
Ningbo, is that China, is it? Sorry, or am I thinking somewhere else?
No, you're right. It is in China. Quite literally, it is near Ningbo, which is a city in China. It's about.
I didn't know. I wasn't too sure. I'm sorry. I just thinking. I've never heard of that before.
No,
it's just one of the things.
It's only 2.5 miles long, but it's got 23 corners, so it's. Three races around there. That's gonna be
So what they've tried to do is take a green hell, shrink it, and put and try and equal the number of corners per mile ratio or something.
Yeah, I think Ben Owen's older are good enough at doing that, mate. But no, that Solder one will be a good one. I obviously, if it does stream, I might even give it a watch if I'm free. But no, Brands Hatch, Indy, that's be quite competitive. Obviously, like I say, Portimao, that'd be pretty good. To be fair, from the looks of it, it's quite competitive.
Good calendar.
But this is kind of this league shows the additional stuff that PC can do. You can put in the success ballast and control it for everyone. I know like GT Sport you can have success ballast, but it's a really hard thing to police. You have to trust that people are going to do it, and you've got to spend 5 minutes making sure they've done it, and even then they can come back out, quickly change it without again. Not that anyone in NXTGEN, but it's a really good thing to see these extra things that can be done on PC and policed to a T being used in terms of like success ballast.
That's going to be good. That's good. And then And then obviously to follow up from that, we've got the Tuesday events, haven't we? That's going to be interesting to see how those go, Gerald.
Yeah, so starting off on GT Sports, we have the Lamborghini Super Trofeo League in its first season on Tuesday, starting at 8:15. Hosted by Bob Bristow, commentated and streamed on by Dark Smoke on YouTube. So if you're interested in watching it, do make sure you head over to his channel. It's an interesting league because it's the only Group 3 league we have on GT Sport this season, and the Lamborghini tends to have a bit of a mixed reception. I'm just looking for the tracks. I'm going to have to go on my centralised points spreadsheet.
According to our stats that I've got here, because I'm looking for it at the moment, there is actually, just looking at the event page currently, there's no track list. So
I do have a track list. Don't panic.
You have a track list?
Yes, I
Fantastic.
do, because I've got the essential points document open. So I know. So they head to
Jordan seems to have higher status than us in terms of the essential points document.
I'm just a villain. It's all right.
To be fair, Jack, you've got access to it. I just don't think you've ever gone on it. So they head to Brands Hatch GP first, home race for most of the drivers. Could be interesting in a GT3 car because they're quite big cars, and Brands Hatch isn't that wide.
No, it's not.
In my opinion. Then they head to Catalunya in Spain. That should be a good race because it's nice, wide open, good flow to the circuit.
To be fair, I'm not a big fan of Catalonia. I've never been a big fan of it as a track.
I've never been
it's
quick.
a good track to watch, but obviously take apart. I'm the opposite. I'm like, like you said, it does have a good flow to it, but
It's one of those circuits that you definitely have to have the higher powered and faster cars on it to make it work.
It's a bit like Marmite, I think is one way of putting it. You like it or you don't like it. You've got it power or you don't have the power. It's a mix. You know, there could be times you go onto it and you'll do really good with any car, and then there's times you could have the best car going, and like it's one of those. I wouldn't say it's obviously as hard as obviously the Nürburgring or any of them. It's very tedious. Like you can get caught out very easily, especially like you said, the size of these GT3 cars. Like one wheel comes off the track, you go for a bit of a spin. So it's gonna be quite interesting. They
then head to Spa. I don't know if that's wet or not because they do have the option on GT Sport. Okay. Then they head. I mean, they got 2 monster circuits then, leading up to the season break. They head to Le Mans for round 4, and there is only one variant on GT Sport, unlike Project Cars, which has the Bugatti circuit, which no one likes.
This is true.
No, that's a discussion for another time, I think.
Yeah, it is.
we could speak for hours on that. So they go to Le Mans, then they head to the Green Hell in the endurance format, the 24-hour Nürburgring. That is going to be a test of survival.
I'm an expert at that. I think I can speak for me previous achievements in an Aston Martin GT3 car. It is quite a challenge.
Where are we after that then?
So after the season break, they head to the Red Bull Ring GP, which is going to be a bit of a slipstream fest, but be a good race. Then they go to Monza, which, as we know, turn 1 is going to be chaotic on lap 1.
It's going to be a temple of cars.
As standard. Then they head to Bathurst. They go down under. Again, obviously, Jack, one of your favourite circuits.
Indeed.
Then they go to the one and only fictional circuit on the game for the calendar, which is the Tokyo East Outer Loop.
That will be a very interesting race. Yeah. That'll be
that could be in the wet as well, because Tokyo does have wet weather.
If that ends up being a wet race, that would be manic. It would be fantastic to watch, especially though in that car.
And they end the season off at Laguna Seca, which I love. Laguna Seca, it's a great circuit. I never do well around there.
Very nice track.
We also have as well. I mean, I know you mentioned it before. Dark Smoke is going to be commentating on the Super Trofeo League. Have we got anything else to mention on that, George?
Well, the biggest factor really, and the main difference compared to the rest of the leagues in GT Sport, is that there is tuning for the Super Trofeo League. So there's going to be a lot of setup sharing and a bit of testing, I think. But it's similar to the old Group 3 league we had in that respect. I think it's got tuning. I think it might have a bit of damage on it. But obviously the final rules we'll probably have to speak to Bob about. But it's looking like it's shaping up to be quite a nice league, and I think there's a good amount of interest in it as well.
Yeah, definitely. There is one other league on a Tuesday that we're sort of not mentioned yet, but we're coming on to it now. It is the Formula 1 2020 League on PS4. This had a mini half season, so to speak, last time out in season 18, hosted by Alex, who I hope he's listening right now. He did a pretty decent job with the 5 rounds. It's got a full-fledged season in season 19. Obviously, me and Jordan helped Alex out with a few bit of background stuff, but this season's going to be really good. I'm just going to quickly go through the calendar on F1 2020. So we'll start off round 1, Canada, going to be a fantastic track to go around.
I'll be happy there.
Round 2, Britain, so that's at the wonderful Silverstone. Round 3 is at Monza, so that's going to be very interesting to go around there. Round 4 is at Baku, that's Azerbaijan. Round 5 is at the classic Zandvoort in the Netherlands. Then we got our mid-season break, so we then stop for a little bit, come back on the 5th of January for round 6 at Singapore. Wonderful city circuit that's been not ruined by Herman Tilke. Round 7 we go to Interlagos at Brazil. Round 8 is Monaco. We're going back to those two circuits again. It's going to be great. Round 9 is at Belgium at Spa. Wonderful circuit, historic in itself. And then round 10 is going to be at Spielberg, the Red Bull Ring. It is going to be one heck of a championship. The racing lobby starts at 8 o'clock on a Tuesday evening. Practice is half an hour, one-shot qualifying, and then a 25% race, which is actually quite ideal for a lot of people. A little bit of strategy going on, but sort of almost like a sprint race, so to speak. There's an individual championship, which is, pretty good for all of us. We all want to win. I know Carl was the one who won last season, so everyone will be gunning for him. But we've also got the teams championship, which, funnily enough, the 3 of us who are in talking tonight all take part in this league, and we are part of teams ourselves.
Did you 2 actually win last season, if I'm correct?
We did, yeah.
We did, yeah.
I only turned up for 5 minutes. And,
yeah.
Me and my comrade Matt Morris, did pretty good in the Alfa Romeo, so
yeah.
Quite a competitive nature.
Yeah. TeamDivebomb.com with BTR will be looking to defend their title in over 10 rounds. It's going to be interesting. I hope I don't break any more front wings. That's my hope for the season.
I don't think you received a pay packet last season for breaking front wings, did you?
I know. Yeah. Mikey, I mean, from your perspective, mate, listening at that calendar and looking at the potential field that we're going to have. I mean, we've got a few drivers coming back from last season, which will be good, including yourself. Yeah. But are you looking forward to it?
I am. I'm not going to lie. Baku. Yeah, there's a good chance my wheel's coming off there. To be fair, obviously the beginning half of the season, obviously Canada is quite a competitive one. I like to say I'm decent around Canada. I can set myself a good pace and go at it that way. But Britain, yeah, alright. Not bad. Baku, that's a bit...
Are you hoping for a podium this season? Is that or maybe a top 5?
I'd like to see me at least get the podium. I'll be made up. Do you know what I mean? Like, obviously, I'll be ecstatic if somehow, God forbid or whatever, that I manage to get the top step. But to be honest, mate, I don't want to go for the one race. I'm going for the long haul. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, it's a team. I obviously don't know everyone wants to win. I think you two can agree with me on that. Everyone wants to win, but obviously, at the end of the day, you've also got the constructors, which I know obviously those 3 will be taking part in separate teams. So no hard feelings, lads. But
Wait.
no, yeah, it's like it's we're in for the long haul. But to be fair, that second part of the calendar, I reckon will be quite good. Obviously, like you said, it's Argos and Monaco back in there. Yeah, so I'm nervous, but I'm quite excited. So.
See, it's interesting you pick on like the team's point, because like it is a very important thing, really. I mean, it shows even though you've always got two shots at being a champion in this league. And I know from Silverstone last season, Jack, me and you were in a chat together, and you were coming up behind me, you were lapping faster than me, and I was looking behind going, do I just hold him up and just be an absolute numpty, or do I go, right, I'm gonna, if you're close enough, I'll let you have it, I'll let you go, let you get away, and then try and work with you. And I think our tactic worked in the end. When you went past, we kind of broke away, and then you kept cutting corners.
Yeah, but I still won, so...
Yeah. To be honest, that was only because I ran wide at Stowe and went, oh, you can have another 3 seconds for that.
No, let's not get bogged down with who cut what corner. Okay, come on.
I think this season's going to be fantastic. I mean, for the F1 league, we have tried in the past with NXTGEN to try and get the league consecutively running. It's always been quite difficult. So to have a second season...
It's quite a specialist league, isn't it? That's the thing. It's a very specialist league, a bit like ACC in that respect. It's a very specialist game because of the way the physics are so different compared to everything else. A lot of people will find it hard to game jump.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't find it hard to game jump, and I think, Jack, you don't find it too hard. But there are people out there who will specialise in one game.
I'm a bit like that, to be fair. Like obviously when I played quite a bit of Project Cars, I was be quite good at it. If you took me off that, and obviously the minute I went on to something like, I don't know, Assessor Corsa or obviously F1, there's times I even text Jack like, do me a favour, mate, tell me what I'm doing wrong there. There. It's just sometimes, like you said, some people can jump between games, some people can't. But what I think I like about this league is everyone is sort of the same level. It's not like there's a few people who are just left behind. It's more or less a luck of the draw sort of thing.
And it's all equal cars as well, so everyone's fighting on a equal point. I know everyone's got different liveries on. Obviously, me and Jordan running in McLarens again this season, but
and obviously I think myself and Matt probably be going the Alfa Romeo. His choice.
Yeah. But it's all equal cars, and it all comes down to, like Jordan mentioned, that strategy, that teamwork. It's going to be really, really crucial. So
I think it's going to be quite debatable, mate. These two, who's going to be driver one, who's going to be driver two. We're going to go for these sort of.
That's the discussions you can have. Yeah, those are the discussions you can have.
The biggest key here is, will Carl have a teammate for this season? Because
that is true.
He's like the biggest free agent on the market. It's almost like we're in silly season.
Yeah, it is actually.
So if you're looking for a teammate, mate, and all those out the window, give us a call.
It's like we've got our own next gen silly season with F1 2020. He's free. He's available. He's got a seat in the team.
So that's. I mean, we could talk about F1 for ages. It is a really good league. I'm looking forward to that. Make sure you do. Anyone who's listening and is interested on that at 8 o'clock on a Tuesday, please do sign up. We do have a league on a Wednesday, don't we, George?
We do. Introducing on ACC PlayStation 4. It's probably one of the longest Assetto Corsa leagues running. It's just jumped to the next generation of game, which is the GT3 League, which interestingly last season started on Assetto Corsa, and in round 6 onwards went to Assetto Corsa Competizione.
Only the second ever hybrid league we've ever had.
Wednesdays 8 o'clock start. Obviously it's all server based nowadays, isn't it? Which is fantastic. Well, I say fantastic, it can be. It's got its pros and cons, but that's Elliot Hankin going hosting that one. I'd just like to say hi, Phil, because he's just said hello, guys, so good evening, and good evening to everyone else who's joined. Just getting up.
We'll come back to Phil at the end actually, because I've got a quick point to make, but I'll explain later.
Just looking at the calendar quickly, they go to Zolder, followed by Monza. They go to Paul Ricard. Again, the only other game I know that has that circuit on console is for F1 now. Nürburgring, where it's stated that it's going to be raining, so that could be interesting. And then they go to Misano for round 5. They have the season break. Round 6 is Silverstone, which I know is in the rain, but I know it's quite a fan favourite with the next gen people in Assetto Corsa, that sort of particular section. They go to Spa for round 7, Hungaroring for round 8, which is going to be interesting, a tight twisty circuit like that in massive GT3 cars. Round 9, and this is a circuit I wish was on more games, Kailami in South Africa. I wish it was on more games. I really do. And then to end the season, all the races up to round 9 are all 1 hour long. But I believe the last one's at Bathurst. They do a 24-hour cycle on it, but I believe they're running a 2-hour endurance for that for the final race.
That's going to be that's harking back to
they done it last season.
That's harking back to the old GT3 days on the original Project Cars leagues with Next Gen, when we had these big events for the GT3s. They were about an hour, maybe even an hour long. So that's going to be a real slog for the drivers who aren't used to that sort of format. It's
one of those formats that really does promote not giving up, because they do run damage, and it is proper full damage as well. I know that for certain. So it really is a league where you just don't, if you do have a crash, just get it back to the pits, keep going, because especially in that 2-hour round Mount Panorama, it's so easy to make that one mistake that puts you in the wall. You know, it's a hard league for anyone, but it's always, I think it's a very rewarding league for anyone that does it and finishes it.
Yeah, definitely. So we got that for the Wednesday. The Thursday stuff, I think we'll start, instead with Gran Turismo Sport, we'll actually look again to Assetto Corsa, because Assetto we're running not just on PlayStation 4 like we've mentioned with the prior leagues, we're also running on PC. So just looking at the Thursday leagues that we've got going currently, I'm just going to boot this up for the PC. We are running a quite a nice hybrid system we've got going on with the Assetto Corsa Competizione GT3 and GT4 mixed series. So that's going to be fascinating to see how that goes, and that's going to be on PC. You can jump in on that, of course. And looking at the track list for this is going to be a really interesting one, obviously with the mixed classes in terms of strategy and overall champions, individual championships going on within the GT3 class and the GT4 class. You can see that the calendar again looks pretty excellent. We've got Misano starting off, a wonderful circuit. Misano, really underappreciated by a lot of racing fans out there. Zandvoort, Monza, Hungaroring, again that's going to be fascinating with the traffic, considering that you know there's laps, pit stops going on. Rather, there's no pit stops going on. Sorry, I should say. It's actually going to be a lot of. There is a mandatory pit stop. There's one tyre change in fuel for the endurance races on those ones, and Brands Hatch is going to be at round 5. After that, we got the break. Then we got round 6 at Kyalami, which me and Jordan both are big fans of. I'm not sure if Mikey knows much about Kyalami, if he has raced around there before. It's been a long time really since it's been featured.
I can't say I have, to be honest, mate.
Yeah, it's been a long.
Sounds quite unfamiliar, that one.
I don't think I've ever driven Kailami actually on a game.
Last time Kailami I remember being featured in a prominent racing game was Toka Race Driver. And we're going back some years to the PlayStation 2
Was it in Toka Race Driver?
I was going to say that PlayStation 2. You had that, didn't you, as well?
I've still got it.
I'm trying to think back to any time on console in particular when it's been around, and I don't think there is. So that's really good to have on PC for those that have got that. Nürburgring round 7, Laguna Seca round 8, Barcelona at round 9. So another sort of technical circuit to try and navigate your way around the GT4 cars, and then Spa which will be another really, really solid race. I'm looking forward to watching a bit about that and seeing a bit of the action, commentating. Not obviously, I'm not going to be commentating, but commenting on it every Tuesday when we do these podcasts. So I'm looking forward to that one. It's going to be interesting.
Quick one, sorry mate. On the Nürburgring one, does it stay obviously, is it the GP track, or is it the actual Nordschleife itself? Or is that a mix? Or
Not explicitly stated, actually.
I believe it's the GT, the GP, but with the GT chicane. If you know what I'm on about, it's not the tight one. It's the flip left right. Because and this is really where Assetto Corsa Competizione for me has a big downfall. Is that obviously there's only GT cars on there, but the track list is very limited until they start getting these add-on packs coming in. And I don't believe they have different layouts of circuits, so you can just have a bit of variation for them. I believe it is just whatever the GTs use, that's what's on the game. But nonetheless, it's still going to be a great league to drive in.
Yeah, it'll be an interesting league to obviously look out for, and you see what obviously formulates from that.
And then we've got the World Series, haven't we, Judd?
The World. Yeah. So Thursdays 8 PM, Gran Turismo Sport. Coming into my leagues that I've hosted.
These were quite fun to drive. These have been projects I haven't driven them, so.
So yeah, on GT Sport we have the Megane Trophy Cup, sponsored by Powermax and commentated on by CJW Racing on his Twitch. And because we have 2 lobbies worth of drivers, also commentated on by Jack on his Twitch, Jack TM53 Synopsis. And yeah, it's a phenomenal league. I mean, this is its third season in action.
Third season, yeah.
All the cars are dressed out in Paramax sponsors and affiliations. As you can see on the screen at the moment, we've got Paramax Racing livery Megane and a fast car Megane. Yeah, the racing, 10-minute qualifying, 20-minute race, no fuel, no tyre wear, stock tuning, get in, drive the car. I'm just going to get the track list up.
And while Jordan gets that track list, obviously to run through it, I'm just going to say for myself, I obviously commentate on Lobby 2 for the action, and Lobby 2 is going to be, fantastic to watch this season. Obviously, Lobby 1 is where the quicker drivers, so to speak, are going to be competing. Obviously, it's fast and furious up there. There's a lot of action, and Chris, otherwise known as CJW Racing, does a fantastic job on the comms for Lobby 1. Lobby 2, we're looking at it this season, it's almost like a completely open championship fight. You cannot pick a pre-season favourite because there are so many drivers who could very easily show up and win a race.
The funny thing is, with the Meganes at the moment, I haven't actually announced the splits yet. I'm still finalising all the liveries, and the splits are going to be announced in the next day or so. Because I know there's a couple of drivers I'm still allocating a spot to. But yeah, without giving too much away, the Lobby 2 is a completely open book, and to be fair, the Lobby 1 that book is gradually opening now, because obviously Hirokram, who's the champion of Lobby 1, was saying near the end of last season he was getting tougher and tougher, and he didn't win a reverse grid race, which was one of his objectives.
Yeah, something he did set out to do. And if anyone's not aware of who Hirokram is, I think we were all right in saying that every now and then an alien shows up to NXTGEN, and they're exceptional. He's part of the class of aliens, following on from the likes of Boy Raxa 14, obviously in his project cars, the RS Jim being the original alien of
Jake Dennis eventually made it at one point.
Yeah, Jake Dennis as well. He raced with us as well, and for those who might be thinking, what, the Jake Dennis that tested the Red Bull F1 car? Yes, that Jake Dennis raced with us as well. And
if I remember correctly, he's actually in the Formula E next season.
But it's interesting because Hirokram, I think GT Sport done a Mazda event in the new RX Vision Group 3 car, and Hirokram was top 16 in that. That's the world. That's just how quick he is, and I kid you not, that Lobby 1 has just got quicker. because of him, everyone's practiced that a little bit more, and they've closed the gap, and it just keeps getting better and better. But the track list, a fair few changes, Jack, you'll agree with me on this this year's calendar. So we go back, Nürburgring, same as last season, opens up. Good track, Nürburgring, lots of overtaking opportunities. Then we go to Alsace Village for the first time. Track that I think Mikey described other circuits as a bit like Marmite. You either like it or you don't like it, but it provides great action. Tsukuba, the first round that has a top 4 reverse grid, which means that the top 4 in the championship standings at that point in time get reversed and chucked at the back of the grid for the start of the race, so they have to make their way back through the field to try and, even though it's 20 minutes a race, like I say, Hirakram still hasn't won a race in the reverse grid yet.
So effectively what you're saying, not being funny, Jordan, yeah, just aim for 5th and you'll be alright. So effectively you're going to get first, aren't you?
Problem is, with the way the tiers are looking this season, I don't think you can afford to do that. You could end up actually dropping more points than actually gaining.
I think that might be something that people will have to consider. Obviously, do you go for the tactical game, or do you just go all out? And then obviously you get third or whatever, fair enough, but are you willing to make, you could class it as a psychological thing, once again, like I said earlier, anything can happen. So.
Round 4 into Lagos, again, great circuit for great racing. Red Bull Ring GP, round 5. Brands Hatch Indy opens us up for the second half of the season, round 6. Again, that's a top 4 reverse grid. Always provides great racing. I had about a 3-lap battle with Hirakram last season before he finally got past me. Fuji GP comes into effect for round 7. Massive straight, big slipstream there, but again, racing is always close, I always tend to find. Round 8. Now, Jack, I think you like this one in particular, which is Willow Springs, the big Willow.
I like Willow Springs. I don't like Willow Springs Horse Thief Mile. that is what it is with me. I don't like the horse.
Desert, sorry. I get these.
That's the one where you drop a wheel off the circuit. You're flying off to the nearest barrier. It's but yeah, it's a circuit that Jack, and you know from experience, it keeps the field really tightly packed, and you make one mistake and the amount of time you lose is huge. Absolutely huge.
Pretty much it is, and in the McGanns and obviously the Scirocco's, which we haven't mentioned yet, going around there, that's going to be very, very fascinating.
Round 9, Suzuka East, top 4 reverse grid. Again, that always produces a stunning race. Very hard to overtake on. The last round, Lago Maggiore GP, which we found out last season. I kept it as the season finale because, again, the cars just stayed close together. You had some great battles. But just to go over the format quickly, the car's 359 brake horsepower, which is a lot going through the rear axle. It's a rear-wheel drive. And Mikey's going to like this statistic. The weight of these cars is only 955 kilograms. They are light as they get.
Less than a ton.
Less than a ton, yeah.
Basically that full to the ton power to weight ratio.
Yep.
Thing is with these, obviously, like I said earlier, sorry, Jordan.
Yeah, you carry on.
I've tried them on project cars. Obviously, I don't know what it's like on GT. Obviously, I'd be tempted to give it a go if there was room.
It'll be room.
From what I learned on project cars is that's wet. You're gonna go drifting, and it's not nice going drifting in the McGann.
These are a bit kinder compared to project cars.
Yeah,
bit kinder. But the other thing as well is that this is one of these two Thursday GT Sport Leagues are the only ones, as far as I'm aware, to have a airdrop score system in place. Only 9, that your best 9 of 10 scores count, which last season kept it quite close between Lobby 2.
Yeah, Lobby 2 was, and Mikey said this before in terms of the strategic or all-out battle. you know, and that was the case of the championship. Timmy DJ G94 up against D Whitehouse, and D Whitehouse was exceptionally quick, but he had a bit of mind games, a bit of tactics about him. He was very clever with how he approached his races, and that's what won him the championship. You know, Timmy did go all out, but that final race, it just got to him. He got frustrated, and that was that. And Dave, rightfully and you know very well deservedly, won that championship. So, how that's going to play out in the McGanns this season in both Lobby 1, Lobby 2, that's going to be excellent. But we also have the Shockos, don't we?
We do. So following straight after, because I know there's another community which run another league that I try and compete in as well. So the Scirocco's come into effect straight after the McGanns finish. The lobby gets set up for the Scirocco's. Currently in debates on whether it's going to be a 2-lobby league or a 1-lobby league. It's a little bit in the pan, just seeing what the sign-ups are like. But using the Scirocco Group 4, they make a return because they were used back in season 15 for about 3 seasons. Greener Army, John Green, hosted that back when he was able to host. And obviously the McGanns took over for those Scirocco's, but we brought them back. Great little car, front wheel drive, so completely different ball game to the McGann. If the drivers are going from the McGann to the Scirocco straight after, completely different ball game. But once again, create fantastic racing. Quickly through the calendar, it's pretty much the same as the McGann's. Nürburgring GP, Alsace Village, Tsukuba again. These have the top 4 reverse grid. Into Lagos, Red Bull Ring, Brands Hatch Indy, Fuji, Willow Springs, Suzuki's. The only change that these cars have is the final round, which is that instead of doing the Ford Lago Maggiore loop, they do the East versions. They do Lago Maggiore East. But these beast of the cars, they're 358 brake horsepower, so 1 less than the McGann, at a weight of 1,050 kilograms. So they're slightly heavier, but again that's partly due to the front wheel drive system, where the engine and all the drivetrain is effectively all in that front area. Racing softs, again, no fuel tyre wear, stock setups, 10-minute qualifying, 20-minute race, get in and drive. And Jack, you'll be commentating on this league.
Yeah, I will be. I'll be commentating on the Scirocco's as well. Obviously we're still waiting to find out on the setup whether it's going to be 1 lobby or 2. At this moment in time, I know we're on the threshold, so it's going to be interesting to see how that split works out. I hope that we end up either having 1 or a solid set for 2 lobbies, which is what the aim is. But that's going to be good. I'm looking forward to that. Same drivers, obviously, we're doing the McGanns and a couple of other maybe potential interested candidates, so that'll be good. So we've got your Thursdays, quite a lot there.
Yeah, lots to choose.
Lots to go through. The Friday series, we've already mentioned from earlier that the Focus Cup is going to be on a Friday. That was already been filled up, which is pretty good to see. But we've also got the first series we've had for iRacing. We've got coming into the mix, and that's the Porsche PMR Cup. It's going to be really good to see, and I believe this is, Jordan, the mix between GT3 and GT4, am I right in saying?
Yep, so on iRacing they're going to be using the Porsche GT3 Cup car and the Porsche Cayman GT4 split class, 2 races, a sprint and a feature, and the track list is being shown on the promo pic on the screen. iRacing had a season out, didn't it? I mean, we had the PMR Audi League 2 seasons ago. It's had a season out. It's come back in the form of Jamie Dorey hosting, and I think it's the entry's growing. I think day by day,
the entry
which is really good to see.
Good. And we've got a number of real world drivers as well. Josh Malin is going to be racing in that league as well, which is a really good thing to see. Obviously our drivers will get the chance to have a go up against real world Cup drivers. For those that don't know, Josh Malin, he's racing in the Ginetta GT5 Challenge at the moment. He's raced in the Ginetta GT Cup as well back in the day for Richardson Racing, and so going to be interesting to see how he gets on. He raced in a number of other esports events, especially during lockdown. He did Formula 3, Isolation Cup, I think it was known as at the time. So got a good bit of experience. I'm looking forward to see how the boys of Next Gen get up against a couple of other real world drivers, but I'm not going to say who they are just yet. You have to find out.
It's weird looking at the track list. You can tell it's based almost around England for half of it. The British circuits in that respect. You got Brands opening, Donington round 3, Snetterton 5, Alton Park 7, Silverstone 9, but a nice little mix of real world circuits as well outside of the UK.
Absolutely.
Like you said, I do agree. It's good to see the likes of Alton Park. Obviously, I know it's not on the likes of GT Sport or Seto Corsa, but seeing a track like Alton Park or Snetterton, these little tracks, it's nice to see them used as well.
See, you mentioned about Alton Park on Assetto. That is actually coming to Assetto Corsa Competizione, yeah.
And that's part of the
British GT pack, yeah. But
there is one last day of racing. So we're coming to the end of the leagues now.
I think you've missed one on Friday.
Oh, have I missed one on Friday?
Yeah, you've got the GT4 World Series on the Assetto Corsa Competizione.
I thought that was on a Thursday.
PS4.
My apologies.
No, that's the mixed series on Thursday.
That's on PS4, right?
So yeah, again, it's between Stuart Packham and Kevin Smith for this season. GT4, obviously, with the announcement of the GT4 pack. This series effectively replaces what the last normal AC league, which was the Tatus FAO1 league, which is a fantastic league. I have to admit, I raced in it for 2 seasons. But it replaces that with the new game GT4 cars. So obviously the DLC required unless you bought the season pass to have the cars. But yeah, it's looking like a fantastic league, and a few circuits that aren't used in the other leagues, which is quite nice. I mean, I'm immediately spotting Suzuka on there, which is a fantastic sight to see. Because I mean, who doesn't love going around Suzuka?
Great circuit, really wonderful circuit to drive around. So we've got that to look forward to on a Friday. So really looking forward to that. Saturday is a free day. We don't have any racing.
Saturday is a free day.
There is a reason for that, isn't there, Gerald?
More than likely, I can't remember the reason. You'll have to tell me.
What we usually have is we like to stick some of our charity events that we do for Next Gen on a Saturday. And we have got a few upcoming that are in the pipeline. We're not going to give any more information about that just yet for those that are listening. So keep an eye out on the Next Gen social medias on Facebook. We're on Instagram, of course, Twitter, and we're also on Discord. So do have a look at those. A lot of information will be posted in those social media areas, which will be pretty good. Last day of a Sunday. We mentioned obviously the M4 Cup from before, but we've also got the very newly hatched league that is just, and when we say literally, it was only decided a couple of days ago. We've got a European Touring Car Championship that will be coming on R Factor 2, again hosted by Kevin Smith. That's going to be really, really good to see Kevin getting involved with a lot of hosting on this one, and we've got the more information in the groups. You'll need to come onto Facebook to have a look at that if possible. And there's a link for where you can sign up, not just for just this league, but all the leagues too. But in this particular event with the ETCR league that we've got going, there's a certain pack that you need to download from Steam. That's in the Facebook group section. If you need to have a look at that, obviously you can message Next Gen on social media and we'll get back to you and give you that link. Now, the track list for this is looking pretty swish.
But before you announce the tracks, Jack, I just want to say the test race, I wish that was part of the league, because I absolutely love that circuit.
I know. They're doing a test race at Castle Combe, which is a wonderful circuit.
The last game that had Castle Combe on it was Toka Race Driver 3.
Yeah, it was.
And I wish, it's another one of those circuits I wish was on more games, because it is an absolute belter.
Really good circuit. The actual season, though, comprises of Donington Park, Zolder, Alton Park, Thruxton, which we need to see more of in games. I'm sure Jordan and Mikey will both agree with me on that. Thruxton's a fantastic circuit.
It's mainly so we can chuck it off at church, but yeah.
Yeah. Magny-Cours is another circuit. We don't see it. We haven't seen it since F1, really.
The F1 Championship Edition for the French Grand Prix from 2006.
Yeah, it's been a long time. Season break, then we go to Oschersleben, which is a wonderful track. Croft, again, we haven't seen it. Crikey, we haven't seen Croft since, I want to go right the way back to the PS1 era.
Yeah, quite possibly.
In terms of launch track release.
It's the thing though, isn't it? It's because they're not MSV, isn't it? They're not MSV, so they don't get included in a lot because obviously Johnny Palmer decides have all the MSV.
Yeah. We've got round 8 at Moors of Sardinia, round 9 at Hockenheimring, and round 10 is at Brands Hatch. And the race format for that obviously is going to be confirmed in the next couple of days, so you'll get more information on that as and when we can. But that is all of the leagues, racing, format, everything that's there. So we've got through quite a lot. We also discussed all the shenanigans that are going to be happening for season 19, and that starts next week.
Next Monday.
Next Monday, so that's going to be really good to see, starting from the 16th.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah, it's going to be great. What we'll do from here on in, the podcasts will usually start at 9 o'clock roughly on a Tuesday, the Next Gen podcast, and what we'll talk about is the race results of what happened for the previous week. We'll talk about those. We'll also have a little bit of a discussion about the, sort of maybe a bit about the race events, any controversy that might have gone on. Not too much, of course, because we don't want to bog down with who T-boned who. Not that it happens that often. We'll give a bit of our own personal perspective of how we're finding the leagues that we're either commentating on or competing in. So that'll be really good, and I'm sure I'm looking forward to Mikey's rundown of every Tuesday in particular, because it's always going to be good. We will have our guests in, of course, every other week. So that's going to be nice to see a few friendly faces popping up, including some of the hosts who have mentioned.
Probably see some old timers as well.
Yeah, see some old timers. We'll put links in the description as well for the Twitch and YouTube streams that we've got going on for the commentators. Obviously, we've got Jordan who's in here tonight with JPH99 on both Twitch and YouTube. We've got CJW Racing, again, both Twitch and YouTube. Dark Smoker, who's just YouTube?
Just YouTube, yeah.
Just YouTube. And myself, JackTM53, Synopsis on YouTube and Twitch. And all of our videos are archived as well, so you can go back and watch them anytime. So if you get a third place and we mention it, you can always go back and have a look.
Also, just to point out with video and archives, going forward, I'm hoping to be transferring a few of the videos from this season onto the Next Gen official page for YouTube. So hopefully we'll get a bit bigger archive on this channel, so when you watch the podcast, hopefully there'll be a few of those races you can go back and watch if you haven't watched them and we've talked about them and you're interested in them. So hopefully that'll be there.
See a different sort of perspective to what we've seen, to what someone else might have seen.
And we'll put that in a set of playlists as well, so it's really easy to see and discover. It's not difficult to do, so I'm sure we'll get onto that when we can. And the other thing that we're going to be talking about as well, depending on the amount of time, because we don't want to really spend too much longer than an hour on these podcasts, is we're also going to look at anything that's going on in the wider community of racing. It's obviously, we all want to focus on Next Gen here, of course, but let's not forget we're entering a new era. We're looking at Next Gen of consoles. We're going into potentially new racing games. Obviously, Gran Turismo 7 being the latest new racing game, the biggest one upcoming. But we're also going to mention a little bit about indie games, stuff that doesn't really get mentioned that often. Looking at Hot Shot Racing and Inertial Drift, which some of you might have thought, are they games? They are indeed. They've only just come out in the last month or so. So we'll have a little bit of... Yeah, of course, raising a little bit of awareness. And you might be thinking, do I want to listen to some arcade games? Everyone likes an arcade racing game every now and then. Doesn't always have to be sim. Just make sure you're aware of that. So we're going to be covering all of that. I think it's going to be really good to see. Before we go, lastly, for those that are wondering what I mentioned about Phil at the start of this podcast, in the middle of it, Bit of background. So me and Phil had a bet in a sort of admin meeting chat not so long ago about when Gran Turismo 7 was going to launch. I said it wasn't going to be a PS5 launch title. He said it was. We still don't know when the release date is for Gran Turismo 7, and the PS5's coming out in what, a week, 2 weeks?
19th of November.
The 19th of November. So that's
next week.
Thursday.
Next Thursday.
So I've got. What's the date today? We're on the 11th. I've got 8 days before I get. I hope to see my little PayPal notification go up and say £20 from Phil. But we'll come back to that in 2 weeks.
Would that be with a message saying "Unbelievable, Jack"?
How bad are you going to feel if they turn around tomorrow and go, "Great news, we're throwing it out"? How bad are you going to feel on Tuesday when you've then got to say, "Sorry, folks, I owe Phil 20 quid"? That is what I'm going to afford. I'm going to sit there on my lunch break for the rest of the week and literally anything on GT, anything on GT.
Gonna be good. I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to it releasing in 2021, please. So that's it from us, really. I think, unless there's anything you two want to chime in just at the end.
I think from me, I mean, a little thing from the admin. Obviously, everyone's welcome. If you're watching this, you're not part of NXTGEN. We'll pop a link to the Facebook group in the description post once it's all back up and back on YouTube. So yeah, if you listen to this and watched what the slides are, and you're interested in any of it, just join the community and get involved. And not only that, we're also looking for some commentators, Jack. You'll probably be aware for like Assetto Corsa Competizione, some commentators for PC games. I mean, I think R-Factor 2 requires one. Obviously, the ACC on PC needs one. Potentially iRacing. I don't know. I'll have to speak to Jamie about iRacing. I don't know what the deal is with that, commentary wise. But yeah, I mean, if you want to come and try and get involved with some commentating, if you've got ACC on PS4, PC, R-Factor 2, again with Race Room, it'll be up to Lee to see, because I know we had was it who is it? I don't know, it's Jack. Can't remember what his last name was now.
It's Jack. I can't remember last.
Is it Oliphant? Was it Jack Oliphant?
It was indeed, yeah.
It was Jack Oliphant. He was doing it last season. I don't know if he's taking a break this season. But yeah, other than that, yeah, just get involved. And if you want to do a bit of commentary on ACC or something like that, just let us know. I mean, we'd be happy to have you. I don't know if Mike's got anything.
Yeah, pretty much what obviously you guys said. You know, more than willing to take more people if you're interested. Come take part. At the end of the day, it's a good laugh. You know.
And the key thing is you're going to learn, aren't you?
Yeah, obviously, obviously, like Mark said earlier, you meet some great people. You're very good people you get on with.
It's a great way of improving yourself as a sim racer as well. I mean, Jack, I like to think I'm living proof of that, because when I first started racing in the Monday night stuff, Jack, in the Clios, I think I got faster and faster every season. And then I got...
Mikey, you'll say the same thing as well from your experiences. We've all gotten quicker.
Yeah, to be fair, obviously, you take part in some things and you ask for a bit of help. You know, obviously, everyone just ignores you. Obviously, when I asked for a bit of help in this group, like, is there any way I can make this faster or this or that? You know, people... You bear in mind, we don't do this as a living. We do this generally because we enjoy it as a hobby. People would generally go out the way, oh yeah, you want to do this, you want to do that, change this, bit of this, bit of that. Little things that would lead on to something. So, it's been great. But obviously, I think on behalf of us three, just obviously thank Mark for taking time out of his busy schedule, to obviously come on with us tonight and discuss some of the leagues with us, and introduce himself to more obviously the bigger set of people. These are like a group of the people. These guys here obviously doing what they can to at least make everyone have a good time and enjoy themselves, and at the end of the day, that's all what we all want, isn't it? So I think we can all agree there, guys.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So on that front, then we've all said what we need to say. The podcast probably ticked over a little bit longer than an hour, but for those that will be tuning in regularly, roughly 9 o'clock every Tuesday from here on in, we will be keeping these podcasts sort of a little bit limited to sort of an hour tops usually, unless there's a special event going on. So that's it for the first ever Next Gen podcast. Thank you very much for joining us, and wherever you might be watching this in the big wide world, I hope you do enjoy it. I'm sure it's going to be pretty good for you to get a bit of information and a bit more about us, a bit more knowledge. So it's I'm assuming it's goodbye from Mikey.
Yeah, it's goodbye. I just want to say stay safe, everyone. Obviously with the whole lockdown, so obviously just
more sim racing
safe
for everyone.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Look after yourselves.
Goodbye from Jord.
Good evening.
And it's goodbye from me. Have a good one wherever you might be in the big wide world, and stay safe. See you very soon.